my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. It is Harrisonburg Day this Tuesday, and it is the kind of the official wrap up as far as the museum is, looking at it. They had it listed through today, and we will continue on because my quilt isn't done, and Wendy's quilt is, she's getting it back from the quilter and getting binding on, and so she and I will be continuing to share it on for several more weeks, which is awesome. And if you're just joining me, we are recreating a quilt by Ellen Rebecca Spitzer from the Virginia Quilt Museum, which is we called it Harrisonburg for the pattern. My friend Wendy Shepard of Ivory Springs did the pattern writing, and then she and I are hosting this sew along, and there's a bunch of different events. I'm going to tell you about those again. So mine is now a full top. So from last week I still had 2 full rows and then a sashing to do, and those are all done now. So the middle is done. My quilt is with my sleepover fabric from Benartex, and so look at it. So amazing. The other day I did a little quilt parade with some of your finishes, so be sure to go back and watch that video. It is so cool to see all the different colorways that are coming up. Okay, so what do we have next? So you should be working on, if you're going to do the border just like Ella Rebecca, you will need these little babies, and I have a whole bag full of them. And so these are the border pieces, and they go side by side, just like, so you got piles and piles of them, and you can see they're just set side by side. And Wendy did all the calculations from, using the vintage quilt and, quilter math to put it all together. So you get the correct number on the sides and on the top and bottom, so they all meet nicely. There we go. So this is what I will now be working on as my sort of leader ender project, because I have been working on several other projects, and now this will have to be the one that's kind of the top dog, because I had been doing the border half square triangles for Block Wednesday, Sweet Childhood Memories. And I have a bunch of units sewn together, and then I have all of these half square triangles. They're all done. So I've just been sort of sewing 2 at a time to stop and start projects to sort of move along with this. And that's really cool, but it's going to have to wait now and take a little back seat to getting the borders sewn for Harrisonburg. So what do we have that you can get involved with? More wonderful things. The best one is everybody can be involved with the virtual quilt show. Between now and October 1st, you can go over to the Virginia Quilt Museum. Link is in the description box here and at the project page at my Quilt Along website, I Love to Make Quilts. You can go to the Virginia Quilt Museum website and enter your finished top. It can be a variation. You could have a small project finished, whatever. But it should be the state where you're done with it. If it's quilted, that's great. But we're for the virtual quilt show, we'll take tops and things like that. So you have between now and October 1 to get your picture in there, and then they will compile that all into a wonderful virtual quilt show, which will run on the museum's website. Isn't that fantastic? I just love that thought. And the director is so creative. She came up with that. It is amazing. Now there's two other events that you can get involved with. Wendy and I will be at the Virginia Quilt Museum with our quilts and the antique quilt by Ellen Rebecca Spitzer, and we will be there on September 16th. So you can go and get your registration for that if you can make the in-person event. It'll be an open house. So basically we're there for the afternoon, and we'll chat with you. We can take pictures. If you have your top, doesn't have to be a quilt. Even if you have your top, or bring it with you. And if you have not entered it into for the virtual show yet, on September 16th, we can take a picture of us all together with it. Wouldn't that be fun? So Wendy and myself and you and your quilt, and then you could enter it in the virtual show. Yeah, I think that's so cute. That would be so great. Wendy and I are super excited about this event. We really are appreciative of the museum to host it, and we are thrilled to be able to support them in this fundraiser. And we now have a current number for how much we have raised, $25,500. So good. Mwah, mwah, to all of you. What a fabulous, fabulous quilt group you are. You are making a piece of history, because not only are you recreating a vintage quilt from the museum, but you are also supporting a quilt museum. There are not many museums that are devoted entirely to quilts. So this is such a great honor to have you help support the museum. All right, there is that third Number 3, the third thing that you can get involved with for the Virginia Quilt Museum's Harrisonburg event is the physical exhibit. So there will be a physical exhibit next year at the museum. We don't have dates and times and things like that, but the exhibit we do know will be September to December. So there's September 17th to December 21st. We don't have the entry for that up there yet, but you can go and get exhibit information and see it from the link below. There will be a very limited number of quilts that can be accepted. They have to be finished. You've got to have binding on it. 3 layers got to be done, but we will take a few that are different sizes, different variations. We just don't know. We don't know how many of you will enter to have your quilt in the physical exhibit, because your quilt will have to be, you'll have to ship it to the museum. It'll have to be away from you for 4 months. It's a commitment on your part to enter the quilt there. But what an honor, right? Wouldn't that be fabulous to be in the final exhibit? Because both Wendy's and my quilts and the original will be there with this other group. So yeah, the museum is not huge, so we don't know exactly how many. It depends on how many you submit and what sizes they are, and what we decide will be a good representation. The museum will be a big deciding factor on what would be a nice representation of these quilts. So this is all so very, very exciting. Over the next few weeks, probably through May, I'll be talking about the Harrisonburg, and then probably once a month or so I will remind you about the virtual show and the in-person event, and when we get the exhibit form is ready for entry, I'll tell you about that. So we have a few more weeks we'll be working on these, because this is the only part I have sewn together. The rest is all single blocks. So I have a ways to go. I will most likely be sewing most of that in May, not much more this month, because I won't be gone. I'll be gone for almost 2 weeks towards the end of the month. All right, let's do a few other things. These blocks that I needed for Scrappiness is Happiness that I needed to fix, I worked on that, and what I did is I went ahead and filmed a little bit, some tips, and sort of walking you through my process of unsewing and the order and what I did. So, whoops, let's take a look at that. So I'm changing this one, and I will change the other Scrappiness is Happiness. So I just ripped until here. Well, this one I could do a bit more, just so I just have some room to work. There, so I did like this, and then I will just remove. Now I've also got a new window, which is going the opposite way, right? So you double check that about 800 times, because you don't want to do all this work and put it in the wrong way. That would be something I probably would do. So I just had to check it like a lot to be sure I was doing it right. Okay, so I did a few snips on that side, and then I can get this side and pull it up. I probably didn't do enough snips over there. I'm trying to hurry. Okay, there we go. So this is pulled off, and this will be sewn on here, right? And now I have to take this one off as well, because you have to do the whole thing, get the whole window free. The window's free. And okay, so there we go. So that's for that. So this is a scrap bag. I'll cut it into 2.5-inch square, I think. All right, so I will sew this unit, and then I will sew it to here again and to here again. So that'll be where it goes. And the reason why it's so long is, you know it, you're a quilter, seam allowances. So once your seam allowances are sucked up in there, it will fit. Okay, so I'm going to do that one. In order to sew this, what I'm doing is taking it right sides together. So here it is, it's open. So I'm just flipping it over right sides together, and I will start up here where I had ripped it out. I'll just start in the seam allowance and go past that all the way down to the end, and then repeat for the other side. For this one, I need to undo it from here, past a little bit, undo this seam, and then, well, probably do the long ones. Undo from here, past, undo from here, past, and then take this off. Then I just have to, then I have to fix this one. But if I didn't have to fix that one, all I'd have to do is rotate it and sew it back in. But I have to fix this one first. So let me just get the block out of here. Two sides done, just, somewhat past. Now I just have to remove this seam. One of the deals I think we do as makers is sometimes we just, when we have to fix something, we procrastinate because we're like, it's going to take so much time, and so we just don't get to it. We leave it, and it annoys us and all of that good stuff. Here, I can't even get the thing under this thread. Okay. But really, in reality, this kind of just undoing it, even though I have, there's, like 3 or 4 or 5 seams I have to undo, then resew. It doesn't take that long. And you were really happy when we did it. That's the whole thing. We get happy. If you think you're going to be happier having it fixed, then that is the route you should go. You should just go ahead, spend the extra 15 minutes, 20 minutes it's going to take to go ahead and make it what you want, use the fabric you want or fix the error. Like, I just can't stand that block upside down. And I knew I was going to fix it. It was just a matter of when. When was I going to fix it? Well, now's the time. Okay, so this block is free. It's free. And if I didn't have this to fix, because that's also annoying me tremendously, all I would do would be to rotate it. So this is the way it was just now. And I would just rotate it like that so that the glasses and the mushrooms and the bee could be flying down, but I'd like the bee flying up. So there's all these little threads. I'll get to them. So now I have to free this guy. So that means seams out to here first, and then come along and take that seam to here. And then I'll be removing this and making a triangle without the dark, only from the light side. So here it is freed up. I removed this lower part and I undid this to here. And now I just have to take this piece off and then make a square this size and sew it back on there. So I decided I'm not even going to use this blue shade again. I pulled out the more aqua one, which is what is here, and I will just cut a new piece. I could cut a square, but I think I'm just going to hold this on here and just cut exactly this shape. And then after that, what I'm going to do is press and pull these threads out, but I'm going to press these seams open, and I'm also keeping everything exactly in the position it should be in so that I don't get something rotated, so I don't accidentally sew this up here, which I could see myself doing, that kind of a thing. So everything's sort of staying in its place. Here's the new piece in. Now I will just sew that unit back, and then I will press this open and get rid of all the little threads and sew this on here, and then this block will sew to the yellow one here. Okay, after this is done, we'll sew to the yellow one, then I will sew it back on this side, sew it back on that side. Now check the direction of it 6 ways to Sunday to be sure it is I don't put it back in the wrong way. But you see, I don't have that big lump here now, and so it doesn't distort that center. And this is the correct way. This is the correct way. Since this is the top, here's the mushroom, this is the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it here and stick a pin. And that way I can go ahead and work on it. Oh, and also my thread ran out while I was sewing this. I was like, I can't believe this. I checked the bobbin. It's getting low too, but I have another one wound. Okay, let me finish it. So now the houses have windows that are identical, so that should make a lot of you happy. It makes me happy. I wasn't, that one didn't bother me too much, little bit after I saw it, but you know, I wasn't too crazy. This other one though, I knew I was going to fix it. It's just a matter of when was I going to fix it. So that was yesterday. So here is the block fixed and rotated, and that one triangle removed. So I am super happy to have both of those done. And here are the offensive members. They're going to go in the scrap bin. Oh, jeez. Okay. The window might be 2.5 inches. I can cut it into a 2.5 inch square for that part. You know, you just never know when you're making stuff. You know, sometimes things just, you know, the upside down part, like, oh, no, that has to be fixed. What else do I have? Oh, we have a really fun tip for using a dental floss container. And I have heard about doing this. I've never done it myself. I've always heard, you know, just put your, you know, bobbin in the dental floss case. So look how fabulous this is. Our friend Sharon did this over at the Facebook group and shared what it looked like on the inside, which was great because, you know, I don't think I've ever seen it in person done. I've just heard about it or people told me about it. And so now I want to go open mine and try putting the bobbin in it and see if it works for me. That's I have to wait. I'll have to try to remember that the next time I empty one of my dental floss. Okay, and the other thing is Tulip Day. This is another one that may get relegated to waiting till I get back, but I only have 3 more tulips to do. I now have six of the 9, and these are from our Sweet Childhood Memories. It was block 13, and we're doing the bonus pattern. Let me just show you that. And I need 9. And then to set it and of course quilt it. So I know the whole process will be when I get back in, it'll be in May. But there's what it looks like. That's the bonus that's in the pattern that you already downloaded. And a bunch of us are making it. People are making table runners as well. People are making just single ones and making little mini quilts. It's just wonderful for spring. And you know, to welcome spring in with sweet little tulips. I am using the Lucky Rabbit fabric by Heather Ross. Whoops. There we go. So and I had to pick, you know, certain ones I wanted, and the other three are cut. So they will definitely get sewn. So I'll definitely, before I go, have all 9 tulips. Whether I'll get them set into a top, you know, you never know. You never know. You never know. All right. All right, my friend, thank you for being here. I am so excited for the Harrisonburg. I'm just so excited for you to enter and to meet you in person in September, hoping that a lot of you can stop by. Remember, there's other things to do in the town, so you can come by the museum, of course, see the whole museum. You can join and be a member of the museum, and then you'll get notices, know what's happening. They have virtual events. And then in town, there's some quilt shops, there's other little stores, there's places to eat, there's a marvelous ice cream shop around the corner. So very, very much doable event. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.